Well, first, I would like to thank you for your time for the interview.
Thank you.
We are going to publish this in our insiders radar. That it's like a section of our website.
Amazing.
It's called SONIDORADAR.com. And first of all, I would like to ask you about your new single that it's called Pale. Personally, I think that it's like a very intimate song. I don't know what did you want to talk about it in that song?
It's about kind of feeling like something is expected, where something was expected of me as a partner. Like it was about like kind of dating and being like, oh my God, this is so like, I feel like I'm taking care of the men that I'm dating. And like kind of like, I feel like I'm put in this like strange maternal position towards men sometimes. And like being really like, oh my God, that's not what I signed up for. And kind of being, becoming aware that in spite of it not always being comfortable, that validation mattered so much for me that I was ready to put that role on myself, kind of. So the song is about like being like, okay, maybe this is not working out after all, you know? Like I feel so like pale, you know, I feel so transparent. Like I feel like my personality is not coming across in this relationship, and it's more like stuff that's being projected onto me.
Oh,
kind
okay.
of. Yeah.
And it's a kind of topic that you explore in all the album, or just like specific songs?
It's more this specific song. The other, like, obviously the whole album is kind of, I think, interested in these kinds of questions where there's like this difference between the way that you see yourself and the way that you feel like the other is seeing you. And that often happens, I think, in romantic relationships, because romantic relationships involve so much projection and so much like expectation and also intimacy. So like it's definitely a place where that happens a lot. But no, I would say that like specifically that was, you know, that's the theme for that song, and it's not really recurrent on any other songs.
Oh, great. And when did you start working on this new album, and how was the process?
I started working on it, like the oldest song I wrote maybe 3 years ago, like 2.5 years ago. But that was before I kind of knew that it would become like, that was before I had an idea for the whole record, I guess. And the whole process was really like challenging, and most of the songs are also about that, actually, are about like, I think they're mostly about that. It's like the question of how you see yourself and how you anticipate other people seeing you was super like hindering. Like it was a problem for me while I was writing songs, because I was so obsessed with how it would come across, whereas like it's impossible to know how someone's gonna receive what you're doing or what you're making. And so I knew that like if I wanted to write songs that I liked, I would have to stop thinking about what people would think. Yeah. So the songs are really about that. So it was a long process of like gaining confidence and like being able to put aside what I thought people were expecting, and like who cares really, because you don't know who's gonna like the music, or you know who it's gonna relate, or who is going to relate with it. So yeah, but it was really fun. The writing process was difficult because I was so insecure, but then when I had written the songs and I went into the studio, it was so fun because I decided to work with close friends and people I trusted and who I knew would not like take my people who cared about my opinion and like, you know, stuff that was very important for me for this first record. So yeah, it was super nice. It was a really fun process, the recording process. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, because it's your first album. Like you have some EPs, but like the debut album is always like a thing, like a big thing.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's definitely really exciting.
And I would like to know also like what, well, you talked to me about a bit what is inspired your lyrics, but also what about the sounds, the music, because do you have like any reference or other
Oh, for
musicians?
sure. Yeah, I do. Like, I usually my friend who I recorded with and I, before we started recording, we went through all of my songs and I was like, I want this to sound like this song, this to sound like we had references already. And for example, Pale, there was this Bjork song that I really liked that I wanted to kind of like draw inspiration from for Pale. And also King Cruel song that I really like.
King Cruel is great.
Yeah, I love King Cruel. And yeah, so like every song has its different range of influences. And then what's really interesting with music is that like you can borrow ideas from other musicians and it won't like come across as, it won't be so obvious because like everyone's so, you know, everyone's like personal touch, I guess, comes across so distinctly that I don't think people listen to Pale and think, oh my god, this sounds like King Cruel. Like I really doubt that. So it's interesting to like, you know, yeah, just let yourself be totally inspired by stuff and trust that the result won't sound anything like it, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, there were a lot of influences. I really liked Tirza's album Devotion. I really liked Big Thief, UFOF. I really liked, I guess that's like that's a couple like recurrent influences.
Okay, like the things that you're constantly listening to.
Exactly.
Great. And do you like to describe your music inside a specific genre or not necessarily?
I think that's kind of like not my job. I feel like it's hard to even, I don't know, it's hard to have an objective, you know, point of view on my own music. I do think that like I feel like it's folky because of how I wrote it, you know, like folk, but I know that it doesn't sound like, it's not classic folk, obviously. It's like so different. I don't know. I'm really open to hearing what anybody has to say about it because myself, I'm not sure what, you know, what we're trying to do.
Yeah, but it's interesting. And I ask you because I feel that, I don't know, years ago, all the music was like very into a specific genres, but now everything is more mixed. So sometimes musicians are not to be expected to be pop or rock.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. And there's so much being produced and like all the genres, like as you say, it's true. All the genres are kind of like boop, melding into some less, like more fluid, I guess, like range of possibilities. Yeah.
Great. And I don't know, well, did the pandemic impact too much the release of this album? The process, how was all that stuff with the virus?
Yeah, it definitely did. But I was lucky enough to have like, we had finished mixing it before, so at least it was, you know, done and we didn't have to adapt. And like I worked with someone in New York, so it would have been really complicated to do that. Like we couldn't have done it together. It would have had to be via, you know, Zoom. So that would have been really different. So that I was lucky for that, but definitely like all the promotion, like in the lockdown in the first months, I was supposed to make 4 videos and we didn't end up making 1 because it was illegal. So like that really influenced it. And then, but I actually like kind of found pleasure in like the time that was suddenly freed up to really like think about the release and be very intentional about it. So that was nice, I guess. But yeah, there wasn't like nothing was delayed for the pandemic. We delayed singles when Black Lives Matter happened,
Okay.
because that seemed like not the good time to be like, hi. So we like pushed it back at that moment. But you know, it obviously not playing shows is going to be a huge thing. But apart from that, it didn't impact it too much.
Okay. And do you have, I know that it's difficult to see it now, like looking forward, but do you have plans now of live shows for the next year, or are you waiting to see what happens? I don't know, how is the music scene also in Canada where you are?
It's really cool. Oh, sorry, 2 seconds.
Don't worry.
It's a really good scene usually. Obviously, you know, everything feels way less like a scene when you can't go to shows and you can't like really be together. But my plans for the future, like the thing that the pandemic is really changing, like we said, is like there are no more shows. So like I'll have so much time to just write another record, basically, you know, like, so I guess that's my plan on a 1-year term, is really to just keep writing stuff and keep recording stuff and like keep working. I feel super lucky. Like it's hard to, you know, like you say, it's hard to project into the future. So I'm trying to hold on, like not make plans for too long, and just like concentrate on what I can do right now.
Yeah, probably it's a good time to be focused on another writing or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, totally. So at least that's good.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Lena, for your time,
so
for the
much.
interview. So I hope everything goes well with the release of the album.
Likewise. Well, I mean, not, you know, but I hope that, you know, everything goes well with the opening up of, you know, the quarantine and everything.
Yeah. Would you like to invite the people to listen the new album, or say something to people to listen your music?
Yeah, for sure. I really hope that, you know, yeah, I've never been to Chile, and I would love to come one day, maybe play shows, but like I hope people like it.
Great. Well, Elena, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.